What is good is happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Mona, and welcome to another episode of Good Friends, Better Rivals. It is been a quiet day on the eastern front of the NFC East. OTA's been going
Yeah.
around. Teams have just been going to work. Teams haven't been doing nothing crazy this offseason for us to react to, like the New York Giants or the Cowboys doing something crazy like signing Greg Hardy or giving Kenny Galladay a
Why would you
$8
bring up
million.
that example? Why
I
is
don't
that
know. That's the
your
only,
first example of
I
crazy
don't.
things though you sign? Like that's just rude.
Sorry, my bad. Um, that's not what I meant. Sorry. No, that's the last. That's the last crazy thing I remember you guys doing.
Of course
What?
you remember that one.
I don't know, that's because that one's the recent one.
How was that recent? That was years ago.
I know, but y'all haven't done anything crazy since then.
Well, that's a good
But
thing.
guys, that's not the point. The point is we're back. We're gonna react and project the off season. Recently OTAs have been on full force. We had a couple people missing from the Giants OTAs. Most importantly, it's Saquon Barkley. Most not importantly, it's Vernon Butler. He hasn't showed up. It's fine. I think he showed up now, but Saquon Barkley is still sitting out, waiting for
It's
that
fine.
deal.
Is it fine? Are you sure it's fine? Doesn't sound fine.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. But we must lie ourselves to keep ourselves from crying. But it is what it is. But guys, the man you heard, it is my partner. It is Caleb. Caleb, how are you, my man?
I'm good. Just looking at my team. You know, trying to be hopeful, and hopefully we get together this season. That's all I can really do because last two endings wasn't great, but it's in the off season time. It's time. It's this time to be hopeful again and say
Yes,
that we're going to go in the season. We're going to win some games. How far are we going to go? Don't know. Don't know.
that's the question. We don't know. We don't know. But there has been some good news coming out of Giants OTAs. Has there been some good news coming out of Cowboys OTAs, Caleb?
Good news. Yeah, I mean there's been some good news. You know, guys getting back healthy, covering, um, that type of thing. Other guys surprising, uh,
Mm-hmm.
looking better than they look better than they did last year, at least in practice. I mean, just all shorts and helmets or whatever. So only so much you can see in OTL, but at least they're
Mm-hmm.
doing something out there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Caleb. What is so we unfortunately we usually talk about the USFL, the XFL. XFL's over. Champions, the Arlington Renegades. So that season's over. The USFL we missed this week of games, unfortunately. So we won't be touching on that. But before we go, all I have to say is in Mark Thompson we trust. Mark Thompson we trust. I think the Houston
Gamblers
Gamblers,
lost, so we just
the
don't want
gam,
to talk about it.
yeah, the Gamblers lost, which is very heartbreaking to me. As a lifelong Gamblers fan, is deeply upsetting.
Lifelong,
Lifelong since the day I was born. It
lifelong.
is upsetting. It is
Yeah.
upsetting. But next week we'll have more on that
Some
because
say you're even
next
a bigger Gamblers fan than the Giants fan. Some would say.
some would say. Some would say I bleed red and black. Some would say. Some would say I've known the days of Jim Kelly back in those days, having the Buffalo Bills steal him away from us. But it is what it is. But guys, let's get right into this. I actually have some notes in from shout out to Dan Duggan. He does a great recap of OTAs because he's at OTAs. Him and Charlotte Carroll. Um they're the Athletics Giant beat reporters. I appreciate them. Um so mostly there's a lot of people are not on the injury report but like we're injured. um David Sills got hurt with an apparent rib injury. I don't know why that man's still there, but it is what it is. But we have a couple people off to the side who were hurt over the last year. Wandale Robinson, Sterling Shepard, they had ACL injuries, so they're going slow. Makai Polk is hurt. Dre Miller, I think, broke his arm, I believe. Marcus McCathan torn his ACL. I don't know what Ashawn Robinson's injury is. DJ Davis, I think, also tore his ACL. Ellison Smith is just constantly hurt. So it's a new injury popping up every single year. Darren Beavers with the ACL. Aaron Robinson, I remember him getting hurt, but I don't remember what it was. So there's that. Ashawn Robinson has his meniscus. Aaron Robinson has ACL. So these are major injuries. We have a couple of ACL injuries. You know, we got Davis, Robinson, Shep, McCathan, Beavers, Aaron Robinson. They're all with ACL injuries. Pennock and Dane Belton were we looked at as well. So there's that. We have a bunch of long-term injury concerns with some of these players, but then we have just gonna take them little by little, and Ashawn Robinson's gonna have a big piece to play this year because our run defense was horrid. It's horrid because run defense. It's not about the top guy about run defense. Run defense is about the depth of your run stuffers, right? We had no depth, and that's why people could run on us. When you swap out Leonard and Dexter for Justin Ellis and Harry Mondu, like I said every single time, I keep saying this every single week, then people can run on you. It was pretty easy. You literally saw it against the Eagles in the playoffs. They waited for Dexter Lawrence to get out of the game. They wait, and then he gets out of the game for a little rest, and they're like, right, let's run it right at Justin Ellis. And that's what they did. They ran it right at Justin Ellis. The game was tight until that happened. Because they're like, Justin Ellis is in the game, run the ball. Run it. And they ran it, and they averaged 10 yards.
Tight, but okay.
I know it was tight because it was still the fourth quarter, Caleb. That's what happened. The game hadn't fully, But the biggest winner of OTAs, it is our new weapon. It is Darren Waller. People are oozing and on over him. They love him. Darius Slayton said, "Hey man, if you want to know what a NFL tight end is, that's that man right there." Nick McLeod, Dory Jackson. There's also too another like I said, Nick McLeod, another person doing really good in OTAs. Nick McLeod, he's playing a little safety now. He's one of our corners. He's playing a little safety. He's become a Swiss Army knife. So he's that's what Dory Jackson described him as, a Swiss Army knife. So there's that. I'm getting kind of happy. So he was playing safety exclusively on Wednesday. Dan Duggan writes. He got, it was him and Xavier McKinney in the back, which is really kind of weird to me because, like, what's their plan for Dane Belton? Are they gonna like they drafted him last year? So what's gonna happen with him? Like, are you gonna let him play? Like, I don't understand. Like, what's he in your plans? Like, what's he in your plans? Like, that's what I want to know. Paris Campbell is starting to get a little mojo with Daniel Jones, which is pretty good. People think he's a little bit better than Richie James, which is great, an upgrade. There was no pass rush on 7-on-7 drills. Adoree Jackson almost made an interception when he jumped late on a curl to Isaiah Hodgins. But then Jones got a pass. Cordell Flott was a bullet at the goal line. So that's the biggest key for the Giants. Daniel Jones and these receivers, improving chemistry. It's all about the improvement of chemistry. So that's the thing. And then Jalen Hyatt hasn't seen a lot of first team reps, but he's staying after practice to work with Daniel Jones to improve chemistry. It's not going to take long before he's in the game because people thought, oh, he's a one-trick pony, but that trick is really good. That's a really good trick. It's a really good trick. Speed's a really good trick if you think about it. But I think he has more tricks to the trade. I think he's a good route runner because I saw him once. He hit that stick and go, that slant, that stutter step slant, and he pops in. That's that's all about steps. It's all about steps. So you need to know the steps, and Jalen Hyatt is doing that. But a receiver that I had my eyes on last year and then coming this year, Colin Johnson. He's back. He tore his Achilles last year. but he's back. He's 6'6". I
Longhorn.
think it was Longhorn Colin Johnson, 6'6". He caught 8 of Tyrod Taylor's 14 completions. He had this nice toe tap catch on the sideline early in practice. Shout out to Dan Duggan for pointing that out. Um, Literally, man, he adds another dimension because he's a little faster than Isaiah Hodgins. He's a little faster. He's just as big, a little faster. Imagine having those two mammoths on the outside with you, with Jalen Hyatt running. And then you had Paris Campbell coming out of nowhere. Then you have Darius Slayton running. I think the reason the Giants are not going to go after DeAndre Hopkins, Caleb, is that the NFL's changed, if you think about it. I think the NFL has said, we
How
want
so?
receivers, we want receivers, we want a committee of receivers. We want a lot of receivers instead of that one alpha dog. Because nowadays, like the last couple of years,
I mean, I think they wanted a lot of good receivers.
yes,
I mean, not just average receivers who sometimes catch the ball.
I think these receivers are good because I think some of these offensive coaches like Brian Daboll, Sean Payton, think they can scheme them up. The coaches are now drinking. Now the coaches are like, no, I can make you good. I can scheme you up. I can just scheme you up and you're good. You know what I mean? So there's that. What about you, Caleb? Anything out of Cowboys camp that's kind of caught your eye?
Well, yeah, I mean, Pollard coming back, he seems like he at least going by what he says he's being a lot faster and he's going to be ready for week 1, and we shouldn't have to worry about him, missing a significant amount of time at the beginning of the season, after his bad injury in the playoff game. So, yeah, I believe him. I mean, I think, like you said, he's only on the franchise tag, so he'd be wanting to go out there and prove his worth this season to show everybody that whether it's the Cowboys or anybody else, any other teams that are looking to sign him, give him that big contract because running backs, they don't get that big money. So I think he really is trying to get out there, even despite the injury, and go out there and show everybody what he can do all by himself without Zeke. He's the lone back there. So we'll see what we can do, and then going with these other running backs, so the other options that we have. We got Malik Davis, we got Deuce Vaughn now. We signed Ronald Jones. So we got some things back there, but we still don't got that guy with Zeke with the pass protection and the power running that we're gonna miss big time. So he's gonna need to recover from that injury because we need a guy that can make those types of run that Zeke was making. But as far as Deuce Vaughn was looking, he was competing with Turpin to see who could be the return guys, whether he's doing kickoffs or punts, because you can do that. I mean, they're basically similar stature right there. Two fast guys who are like small in stature and who can make plays when they get the ball in their hands.
I think Deuce is a little,
So
Deuce
that
a little
be
wider. Deuce is a little wider.
yeah. But Turpin's a little quicker, so you have that. So with that, that's definitely going to be a battle to see who can take that, or whether we keep Turpin or not. I mean, he's guy coming off of All Pro, but if we have a guy that can also play running back, because we haven't seen Turpin really play receiver. Hopefully that changes with Kellen Moore out of here, and we got another offensive coordinator. Maybe he can find something to do with Turpin, and use his athletic ability, his size, as and use that in our offense, and actually can give him the ball and see hopefully he can make plays like that, because obviously they did not want to use him last year on the offense. We barely saw him on offense, and we only saw him in the kick game, which I guess they just wanted to let him do what he does best. And he was also coming off of playing in the USFL, so he didn't have a lot of rest time. So I guess they wanted to just keep him there as a returner just doing that. But maybe we see him this year more involved in the offense, and we can get him some plays where he can, take it to the house like we see him in the return game. And then we saw the lineup as far as off the line. Terrence Steele still out after that injury that he suffered during the season. We had Will Let's Go in there at right tackle. We had Tyron Smith at left tackle and Tyler Smith bumping down to guard. And that's what we've been saying. What is the line going to be looking like going into the season? If you want your 5 best guys out there, that's probably going to be the way you want it to do. With Steele on the right, Tyron on the left, Tyler at guard, Zach and Tyler Biotish at center and guard. That's your best 5. And if that's your best 5, that's how you want to go. That's how you're going to have to play it. But it kind of sucks because I think Tyler Smith was doing really well. I want him to better because he is the future left tackle. I want him to stay there at left tackle. But if you do that, then you don't really have a spot for Tyron Smith, and then he just kind of becomes like a swing tackle. And it's a hard decision either way. But as far as OTAs go, we're in May. Well, I mean,
it's the experimenting process
in May. That's not going to be I don't think that's going to be the final look. They might change their mind, switch him back at left tackle, and it might be totally different in training camp. Mm-hmm. And then as far as we June 1st, we're in June 2nd right now. June 1st cuts. Zeke was counted as a June 1st cut, and we freed up some money. Freed up about $10.9 million on our cap space, and now we have $20 million in total. So there's a lot of speculation on what we can do with that money. And there's a few different directions. Obviously, Dak only signed like a 4-year deal. Could we extend him? Could we use that money to extend Dak's contract? Could we extend? And then we have the 2 young guys with CD and Trayvon Diggs. Those 2 guys are coming up on their, especially Diggs, because he's only a 2nd-round pick. He was not a 1st-round pick, so he's on his last year. I think 2020, 2021, 22, 20, and 23, yeah, it'd be 4 years. So he'll be on his last year, and he's looking to get paid. Obviously, he's been very good. Obviously, a lot of people criticize him for in 2021 season for how much yards he gave up, even though he had a bunch of interceptions. But screw that. It's all about the yards. And then all of a sudden, he does that, and now people want more interceptions. Like, okay, decide what you want, people. Decide what you want. You want interception, you want yards. He became less of a gambler last season. I think he was more focused on really shutting down that sign. He really did a good job, man. He did a lot better with that this past season. So yeah, like I said, he's looking to get paid, so we couldn't that could be an extension we look at first, and then see as far as CD. He's saying he's not even thinking about it. He said he's focused on he's not going to get distracted. He's focused on what he's doing in practice, and he said the money definitely he's not worried about it, but it's not something. He said he's definitely worried about it, but it's not something that's on my mind every day or when I come to the building. I'm not thinking about how much money I'm going to make if I do this. It's really all about coming in, showing my worth, and letting everything else handle itself. Of course, that's kind of like a normal kind of player talk when it comes to contract. Just kind of focus on what you're doing, not really worried about it. Well, he said he is worried about it, but like I said, I do think he will get an extension. But is that what we're going to focus on now? I think we can wait a little bit. He does have the 5th-year option because he was a 1st-rounder, so I think we can wait him on a little bit. So what else can we do? Can we sign Hopkins? I mean, there's a lot of, he's in the odds for, we're one of the top, 5 odds on signing Hopkins. Obviously, he looks like more of the other 2 options were Bills and Chiefs, but can we sign him? I don't really think we need him. We already got kind of a veteran guy in Brandon Cooks on the other side of C. Lamb. Just adding another guy. I don't know if we want that. That's the smartest way to use that money right now. I mean, he's going to be asking for a lot. Um, I don't think that's the best decision for us to make right now to use that money. I do think a good way to spend it is bringing in the kicker because we got nothing there. We all saw how bad what's his name
Brett
um,
Maher.
Brett Maher did horribly in the playoffs. Uh, he was cut. We said good riddance because he was terrible. But now we got nothing. We got nothing. We got this Guyano guy coming out there trying to make the team. But can we? I mean, I think we should use some of this money to bring in a veteran kicker. I know we're doing some of the kickers out there. Robbie Gould, Mason Crosby. I don't care who you bring in somebody. We got to do something at that position because it is not looking good. I mean, as bad as it looked last year at the end of the season, he was still really good through. I mean, he was really good for most of the season. Just that ending that just was terrible. So bring in something because we got to get that fixed, or we're going to be in some trouble there. And as far as so that's some of the options we can go with using that money. But that's pretty much all I got.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The Giants really ain't been doing much. We do have some burning questions for the Giants to answer. Shout out to Charlotte Carroll of the Athletic as well. She tallied a good article about it, and I kind of agree with these. Big question, the main question is the Saquon Barkley situation. You know, you need to resolve it. Either you got to trade him or you pay him. You pay him or you trade him. There's three outcomes of this situation. You trade him, you pay him, or he takes the deal you gave him. Personally, I don't think he's going to take the deal you gave him, and I think the trade is going to be more likely. So, unfortunately, that's what I think. Andrew Thomas, do you want to make sure you give him his deal now, so he doesn't break the bank? Because that's what you did with Dexter Lawrence. You gave him top 5 money, but not number 1 money. You know what I mean? You gave him top 5 money, but you didn't give him number 1 money. He's still not the highest paid D tackle in the league, or nose tackle, D tackle. The different designations really kind of don't matter. You're on the inside. Leonard Williams' contract, we've been talking about it for all summer. You got to restructure it. You need to free up some space. Apparently, the restructure could save $8 million in cap space, according to Over the Cap. So shout out to them. It's 32.3 million dollars in a cap hit. That's it. 32.3. Shout out to Dave Gettleman for giving these players what they wanted, and it is what it is. He said he was up to it in January. So there's that. He has said, I'm willing to restructure. So there's that. Same thing with Saquon Barkley. He said, I'm willing. I don't have to break the bank. But it's something. So if Saquon Barkley saying, you don't have to pay me the most money, he's not trying to reset the market. So he's saying, you don't have to reset the market with me, which means they don't want to give him $15 million, $16 million, because that's the deal. It's Christian McCaffrey's deal at $16 million. He said, you don't got to pay me more than Christian. Either you give me Christian's number, or like in that range. And the Giants don't want to give him in that range. They want to give him something cheaper because it's business. You negotiate. Depth on the edge. We don't have a lot of depth on the edge. We just have Azeez Ojulari, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jahad Ward. We need more depth. O'Shane Ximines, Ellerson Smith, are they going to play? Probably not. I don't know. Azeez Ojulari missed a lot of games last year. Is this a one-time thing, or is this going to be a habitual thing? We'll see. That's a question. Adoree Jackson's deal, leave it alone. It's good. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's fine. You need man corners. He's a man corner. In Wink Martindale's scheme, he loves to run man. He's a man corner. Leave it be. Those are the questions. Yeah, those are the burning questions. Shout out to you, Charlotte. Charlotte, phenomenal article by the Athletic. By the Athletic. All right, Kev, do you have any burning questions about the Cowboys?
My biggest question is I was already talking about earlier, off the line. What is that going to look like? Where's Tyron Smith going to play? Is Tyler still going to be healthy? That's the biggest deal right now. I mean, now getting that off the line set, we have the players. It's just we have the pieces. Where do you put them? I think that's my biggest question going into training camp and seeing how it all plays out. Also, the backup running back spot, is Deuce Vaughn going to show up and look like he did in college, prove everybody wrong, deserve to be a higher pick. That's a big deal to me because I do think it's a big loss with Zeke. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, Zeke washed" and all that. I mean, he got 12 touchdowns. I think I was like 12 touchdowns last year. I mean, he was scoring touchdowns. He was getting pass protected. That's a big loss. That's a big loss for what he can do. I'm not saying as a big loss as far as running, getting those big runs, but all the other stuff that he was doing, it's gonna be missed on the offense. And what is Mike McCarthy's play calling style going to look like with the Cowboys? That's a big question as well. I mean, it should look a lot better than what Kellen Moore was doing because wasn't look too good there, at least as far as what I was seeing. Because I mean, dude was calling like 4 curls. That's what he was called. That was freaking 4 curls, so everybody was covered. Terrible play calling. And everybody was in the same spot, and you wonder why Dak threw a bunch of interceptions. I mean, well, yeah, if everybody's in the same spot, I mean, who else going to throw to? So those are my biggest questions going. A lot have to do with the offense because I'm not really worried about the defense because I know Dan Quinn got it. Dan Quinn, it's just he's crazy what he does. He's improved his defense every single year he's been here. Been here in a couple of years. He's got that defense on lock. He knows what he's doing out there. So I got no question on defense because I know Dan Quinn is going to answer all the questions. So I trust in Dan Quinn. So that's why I really got nothing to say about the defense. I think the defense is going to be great this year as was last year. So all my questions are really focused on the offensive side of the ball.
All right. Yeah. My questions mostly are chemistry with the receivers, Saquon Barkley, and defense needs more defensive line depth. That's it. That's all my questions. Oh, and the offensive line. The offensive line, man. The offensive line. But that's it. That's pretty much. But before we go, guys, I want to make sure everybody, it's a shorter show, so make sure to watch it all. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. We're almost to 100 subscribers. So share it. Go to the merch store, man. Look at Caleb, man. Caleb wearing that merch. We, also too at the merch store, we have these cool hats. Look at them hats. Look at that. Look beautiful old hat. Look at that hat. It's phenomenal. So it's a beautiful hat. You mad about the hat? You should wear the hat and the shirt, Caleb. But yeah, that too, as well as
you want to get it for me? How about you get it for me? And then
you have a job now.
Okay, and so do you.
Buy your own stuff.
No, I did.
All right, then.
Now give me the hat.
Okay. All right. But before we go, I think my main man, Justin, has something to tell everybody.
Hey guys, it's Justin, aka Hambone, just here to let you know a couple of things that we have going on with the channel. One, we have a Patreon. If you can and want to support us, you can do that. As little as $1. You can join the Discord. We also have a merch store where you can get some cool shirts, mugs, and stuff with all of our different shows and labels on there. And thank you for all of our supporters that have already been there with us.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your support. Caleb, where can people find you, my man?
Me at NFL Caleb 22 on Instagram and Twitter, and on this show every Friday, 3 o'clock.
All right, guys, you can find me at Fastmell on Twitter every Friday, 3 o'clock on this channel, as well as a smattering of other channels. I show up here on the Let's Get Ready Network, the highlights, as well as the Let's Get Ready Network channel. I show up here and there. talk some sports, talk some news, all that good jazz. So there's that. Have a wonderful day, everyone. See y'all next time. And next time, let's see one of our teams that's something crazy we can talk about. Something crazy. But apparently our organizations want to be well-run organizations now. How dare they? I need some content.